They are not just pieces of metal used to buy things. They are small windows into Japan's long and rich history. Each coin carries the mark of its time, showing us what was important to the people who made and used it. From the very first coins made over 1,000 years ago to the modern yen we see today, the journey is full of change, art, and culture. Studying these coins helps us understand the economic and political shifts that shaped the nation. It is a journey that takes us through imperial courts, powerful shogunates, and into the modern world. The history of Japanese money is unique. For a long time, Japan did not have its own coins. People used other things for trade, like rice, cloth, or even arrowheads. They also used coins from nearby China. The decision to start making their own money was a very big step. It showed that Japan was becoming a strong and centralized state, much like the powerful Tang dynasty in China. This desire to create a national identity is a theme we see again and again throughout the history of its currency. It is a story of independence and pride. What makes Japanese coins so interesting to collectors and historians is their incredible variety. The shapes, materials, and designs have changed dramatically over the centuries. Some coins were round with a square hole, while others were large, oval-shaped gold plates. Some were made of copper, others of silver, gold, and even iron. The images and characters on the coins also tell a story. They might name the emperor, the era, or simply state the coin's value. These details help us piece together the puzzle of Japan's past, making each coin a valuable historical document. In this exploration, we will travel through time, looking at the most important coins in Japanese history. We will start with the very first attempts at a national currency. Then we will move through the classical period, the feudal era of the samurai, and finally into the modern age. We will look at famous coins like the Wado Kaichin, the magnificent Oban gold plates, and the everyday mon coins used by commoners. This journey will show how Japan's money evolved, reflecting the nation's unique path and its enduring connection to its own history and art. The story of Japanese coins begins in the late 7th century. Before this time, Japan did not have its own official money. People traded using goods like rice and silk, or they used Chinese coins that came over through trade. Around the year 683, Emperor Tenmu decided it was time for Japan to have its own currency. This led to the creation of the first known Japanese coin, the Fuhonsen. These coins were made of a copper alloy with a little bit of tin and lead. They were round with a square hole in the middle, a design borrowed from Chinese coins. The Fuhonsen is a very mysterious coin. For a long time, historians were not even sure if it was real money or just a good luck charm. The characters on the coin, Fu and Hon, are thought to mean wealth and foundation or currency. However, not many of these coins have been found, and historical records from that time are not very clear. It seems the Fuhonsen project did not last very long. It was an important first try, but it did not lead to a widespread money system. It showed the ambition of the imperial court, but also the difficulty of starting a currency from scratch. The first truly successful Japanese coin appeared a few decades later. In the year 708, Empress Genmei ordered the minting of a new coin called the Wado Kaichin. This was a much more organized effort. The name Wado refers to the era name, which means Japanese copper because large copper deposits were discovered during that time. The characters Kaichin mean first currency or inaugural treasure. The government actively promoted the use of these new coins. They gave official ranks to people who saved a lot of them, trying to encourage the public to accept this new form of money. The Wado Kaichin was a major success compared to the Fuhonsen. It was produced in large quantities and circulated widely. Like the Fuhonsen, it was a round copper coin with a square hole. This design was very practical. The hole allowed people to string the coins together, making them easier to carry and count. One string could hold 100 or even 1,000 coins. The Wado Kaichin marked the real beginning of a national currency in Japan. It established a standard that would be followed for centuries and represented a significant step in the development of the Japanese state and its economy. The success of the Wado Kaichin started a new chapter in Japanese monetary history. Following its introduction, the imperial court in Nara and later Kyoto issued a series of 11 more official coins. Together with the Wado Kaichin, these are known as the Kocho Junisen, or the 12 imperial coins. This period of minting lasted for about 250 years, from 708 to 958. Each new coin was issued by an emperor to replace the previous one. This was often done because the government needed more money, or because the quality of the old coins had gone down. The 12 imperial coins all followed the same basic design. They were round, made of copper, and had a square hole in the center. The characters on the coins usually included the name of the era in which they were made. For example, after the Wado Kaichin came the Manan Tsuho in 760, the Jingo Kaiho in 765, and the Ryuhei Eiho in 796. Each time a new coin was introduced, the government declared that the new coin had a value 10 times that of the old one. This was a way for the government to make a profit, but it caused a lot of confusion and made people lose trust in the currency. Over time, the quality of these coins began to drop. The government was trying to make money, so they started using less copper and more lead in the metal mixture. As a result, the coins became smaller, thinner, and much more fragile. People started to prefer the older, heavier coins or even Chinese coins, which were seen as more reliable. This problem of debasement, or lowering the value of the metal in coins, is a common theme in currency history around the world. In Japan, it eventually led to people rejecting the imperial coins altogether. The last of the 12 imperial coins was the Kengen Taiho, issued in 958. After this coin, the Japanese government stopped minting its own money for a very long time. The system had failed. The constant revaluation and poor quality of the coins had destroyed public confidence. People went back to using rice and silk for large transactions, and for smaller purchases, they relied on Chinese coins that were imported into the country. The era of the 12 imperial coins ended, marking a long pause in Japan's independent currency production that would last for about 600 years. After the minting of the Kengen Taiho in 958, the Japanese imperial government stopped producing its own coins. This began a long period, lasting nearly 6 centuries, where Japan did not have an official government-issued currency. The experiment with the 12 imperial coins had ultimately failed. The public had lost faith in the constantly changing value and declining quality of the coins. As a result, the economy shifted back towards older, more traditional methods of exchange. For large transactions between samurai or nobles, rice became the primary standard of value. A warrior's wealth and status were measured in koku, a unit of rice. For everyday people and smaller transactions, the situation was different. While rice and cloth were used, they were not always convenient. A demand for a more practical medium of exchange still existed. The solution came from overseas. Chinese coins, particularly those from the Song and Ming dynasties, began to flow into Japan through trade. These coins were well made, had a stable copper content, and were widely trusted. They became the de facto currency in Japan's markets and towns. Japanese people called these imported coins toreisen, which simply means coins from the Tang, even though they came from later dynasties. The use of imported Chinese coins became so widespread that the Japanese government and feudal lords had to accept it. Instead of trying to create their own currency, they sometimes tried to control the circulation of these foreign coins. Some powerful feudal lords, known as daimyo, would select certain types of Chinese coins as the official currency for their own domains. This created a complex monetary system where different regions might use different types of coins. Sometimes old and worn-out coins were accepted at a lower value than newer, well-preserved ones, leading to a lot of sorting and checking during transactions. This long period without a national currency had a profound impact on Japan's economy. It made the country dependent on foreign trade for its money supply. It also contributed to the decentralization of power, as local lords controlled the currency within their own territories. However, this period also saw the growth of a commercial economy and the rise of a merchant class. These merchants became experts in handling different types of coins and managing complex financial transactions. The reliance on imported coins would finally end when Japan was unified, and powerful leaders decided it was once again time to create a distinctly Japanese currency. The long pause in Japanese coin minting ended in the late 16th century, as Japan was being unified under powerful military leaders like Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi. This period saw the introduction of a completely new type of currency, large gold and silver coins. The most spectacular of these was the Tensho Oban, a massive oval-shaped gold plate. First issued around 1588 by Hideyoshi, the oban was not a coin for everyday people. It was a symbol of power and wealth, used for large payments between feudal lords or as a reward for loyal samurai. The oban was truly impressive. It could weigh up to 165 grams and was made of high-purity gold. Each oban was handmade and had ink signatures from the master of the gold mint, certifying its weight and authenticity. Because they were so valuable, they were not used for shopping. Instead, they were hoarded as treasure or used in major political transactions. Alongside the oban, a smaller but still very valuable gold coin called the koban was created. The koban was also an oval plate, typically worth 1/10 of an oban. It became the standard gold coin for the wealthy samurai and merchant classes. When Tokugawa Ieyasu established his shogunate in the early 17th century, he created a unified and standardized monetary system for all of Japan. This system, known as the Tokugawa trimetallic system, was based on gold, silver, and copper coins. The gold koban was the highest standard. Silver coins, like the chogin, were irregularly shaped lumps of silver that were traded by weight. The value of silver fluctuated against gold, and money changers played a crucial role in exchanging one for the other. This complex system was a hallmark of the Edo period, from 1603 to 1868. This new system represented a major step forward. For the first time, Japan had a comprehensive multi-metal currency system that was controlled by a central government, the Tokugawa shogunate. The gold mines on Sado Island and the Izu Peninsula provided the precious metals needed to mint these coins. The oban and koban, with their unique shape and beautiful craftsmanship, became iconic symbols of feudal Japan. They represented the immense wealth and power concentrated in the hands of the shogun and the daimyo, a stark contrast to the small copper coins used by the common people. While the samurai and merchants dealt in gold koban and silver chogin, the vast majority of people in Edo period Japan used a much more humble form of money. This was the mon system, which was based on small coins made of copper or iron. The most common of these coins was the kan-e tsuho. First minted in 1626 during the kan-e era, this coin would actually become the backbone of the Japanese economy for over 2 centuries. It was so successful and produced in such enormous quantities that it's honestly one of the most common pre-modern coins you'll find in Japan today. The kan-e tsuho followed the classic design. It was round with a square hole in the middle, which made it easy to string together. The characters on the front read kan-e tsuho, which literally means Kanai era currency. A string of 1,000 mon coins was theoretically worth 1 gold ryo, the unit of account for a koban, but this exchange rate could vary quite a bit. These coins were used for all kinds of daily purchases, from a bowl of noodles to a pair of sandals. They were, in a sense, the lifeblood of the bustling towns and cities of Tokugawa, Japan. One interesting aspect of the kan-e tsuho is just the sheer variety that exists. The coin was minted for over 200 years, at many different locations across Japan. As a result, there are hundreds of minor variations in the calligraphy of the characters, the size of the coin, and even the composition of the metal. Some were made of copper, but during times when copper was scarce, many were made of iron. Collectors today spend a great deal of time identifying these different varieties. A famous type, known as the bunkane tsuho, actually has a character on the back indicating the mint where it was made. The mon system was not without its problems though. The value of the coins was very low, so people had to carry large, heavy strings of them for any significant purchase. There's a famous story about a man needing a cart to carry the coins required to buy a horse. On top of that, the government sometimes issued poor quality iron coins to save money, which people were really reluctant to accept. Despite these issues, the kan-e tsuho and other mon coins provided a stable currency for the common people for centuries, and really helped facilitate the vibrant commercial culture that defined the Edo period. The arrival of American Commodore Matthew Perry's black ships in 1853 marked the beginning of the end for feudal Japan and its complex monetary system. The Tokugawa shogunate was forced to sign unequal trade treaties, which caused chaos in the currency markets. Foreigners could bring in silver and exchange it for Japanese gold koban at a very favorable rate, which led to a massive outflow of gold from Japan. This economic crisis, combined with political pressure, eventually led to the downfall of the shogunate and the Meiji Restoration in 1868. The new Meiji government understood that a modern nation needed a modern currency. So in 1871, the government passed the New Currency Act, which completely overhauled Japan's money. The old confusing system of ryo, mon, and silver by weight was abolished. In its place, a new simple decimal system was introduced. The new primary unit was the yen, written with a character that means round, reflecting the shape of the new coins. The yen was divided into 100 sen and 1,000 rin. This system was inspired by Western currencies and was designed to make Japan a competitive player in the international economy. The new Meiji coins were a radical departure from the past. Instead of the old cast coins with square holes, the new coins were machine-struck, just like those in Europe and America. They were perfectly round and had intricate, beautiful designs. The first gold coins featured a dragon, a powerful symbol of the emperor, while the silver coins featured a radiant sunburst. These designs were meant to project an image of a modern, powerful, and centralized Japanese empire. The coins were made of gold, silver, and copper, with their values fixed to each other. The introduction of the yen was a huge success. The government built a modern mint in Osaka, equipped with the latest machinery from Britain. The new coins were high quality, uniform, and trusted by the public. For the first time, Japan had a single unified currency that was used by everyone, from the wealthiest industrialist to the poorest farmer. The yen became a powerful symbol of Japan's rapid modernization. It was a clean break from the feudal past and a confident step into the modern industrial world, laying the financial foundation for the nation's growth in the 20th century. The early 20th century saw Japan's economy and influence really grow, and its currency continued to evolve. The beautiful silver and gold coins of the Meiji era stayed in use, but the world was definitely changing. After World War I, many countries began to move away from the gold standard, and the role of precious metals in daily currency started to decline. Japan followed this trend, and by the 1930s, the yen was no longer directly backed by a fixed amount of gold. Banknotes issued by the Bank of Japan became the main form of high-value currency, while smaller denomination coins were made of less expensive metals like nickel and bronze. The period leading up to and during World War II brought dramatic changes to Japan's coinage. As the nation mobilized for war, precious metals like copper and nickel became critical resources for the military. They were needed for weapons, ships, and ammunition. Because of this, the government began to change the composition of its coins to save these strategic materials. Coins that were once made of bronze were now made of aluminum. Even aluminum eventually became scarce, leading to the minting of coins made from tin and zinc alloys during the later stages of the war. These wartime coins really tell a story of desperation and scarcity. They were often poorly made and very light. The designs were simplified to speed up production. Some of the last coins issued during the war were made of a reddish-brown clay, or porcelain, since metal was almost completely unavailable for coinage. These earthenware coins were never officially circulated on a large scale, but they show just how dire the situation had become. They are a stark reminder of the economic hardships that war imposes on a nation. Very few of these fragile coins survive today, making them a fascinating and somber collectible. After Japan's defeat in 1945, the country faced hyperinflation. The old currency became pretty much worthless. During the Allied occupation, a new series of coins and banknotes were introduced to stabilize the economy. These post-war coins were simple and practical, often featuring designs like doves or the National Diet Building, symbolizing peace and a new democratic government. The sen and rin denominations, which had become worthless due to inflation, were officially abolished in 1953. This left the yen as the sole unit of currency, setting the stage for the modern coinage system we know today. Today, the currency of Japan consists of 6 circulating coins, the 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, and 500 yen pieces. This set of coins has been relatively stable since the mid-20th century and is a familiar part of daily life in Japan. Each coin has a unique design, often featuring plants and flowers that hold cultural significance. The 1 yen coin, made of lightweight aluminum, features a young sapling to symbolize growth. The 5 yen coin is the only one to retain a hole in the center, which is a nod to Japan's ancient coins. Its front shows a rice stalk, water, and a gear, representing agriculture, fisheries, and industry. The design of modern Japanese coins is a beautiful blend of tradition and modernity. The 10-yen coin features the iconic Phoenix Hall of the Byodo-in Temple, a UNESCO World Heritage Site near Kyoto. The 50 and 100 yen coins both feature chrysanthemums, with the 100 yen also showing cherry blossoms, perhaps the most beloved flower in Japan. These designs really connect the currency to the nation's natural beauty and rich cultural heritage. The characters on the coins state the country's name, Nihon Koku, meaning State of Japan, and the year of the emperor's reign in which they were minted, which is another link to long-standing tradition. In recent years, Japanese coinage has also been at the forefront of anti-counterfeiting technology. The 500 yen coin, one of the highest value circulating coins in the world, has undergone several updates to make it more secure. The newest version, introduced in 2021, is a bimetallic coin with a complex design. It includes helical ridges on its edge, microprinting, and latent images that change when viewed from different angles. This focus on security really shows how minting technology continues to advance, which is quite a contrast to the simple casting methods of the past. From the first Fuhonsen to the high-tech 500 yen coin, the journey of Japanese currency is honestly a mirror of the nation's history. It's a story that encompasses the rise and fall of imperial power, the isolation and unification of the feudal era, and the rapid modernization and technological innovation of the last 150 years. Beyond their economic function, these coins are miniature works of art and important historical artifacts. They connect the past to the present, reminding us that even in a small piece of metal, we can find the grand story of a nation and its people.